Alright, comic book collector Sheffield, and thanks for joining us again. A quick note, as of the time of recording, I have no internet access. That's right, people, I'm off the grid. So I can't do any real research into any of these comics. In fact, you might not even get to see this video. Still, never mind, eh? First off this week, it's a K.G. Murray reprint of My Greatest Adventure, just called Greatest Adventure. This is number 36. It has I Tracked the Nuclear Creature, 5 Days to Doom, and We Discovered the Edge of the World. Peter Panda 27. There's Peter Panda in Chasing Shadows, Mountains Ahoy, One Hop Ahead, and Moon Wanted, and also Stanley the Timid Scarecrow in Hit the Target. The Adventures of Ozzie and Harriet, number 5. The comic version of America's favourite radio family, the Nelsons. In this issue, look out for bugs, bunions, brambles, and bears with Daniel Boone Ozzie. There's also a 2-page Nick story as well, who I believe is Ozzie and Harriet's dog. I'm not entirely sure how big a story was on the radio show though. From what I can see, there was only 5 issues of The Adventures of Ozzie and Harriet, so this was the last one released. Feature Films Magazine number 4. I can only see 4 issues of this, so that's another short-lived run. There's an adaptation of the movie Fancy Pants, which I have to say I'm not familiar with at all, but it does feature both Bob Hope and Lucille Ball. There's a short story on Lucille Ball's road to stardom. Of course, Lucille Ball is most famous for being in The Honeymooners. I'm home! And there's an adaptation of the Golden Glove story as well. Leading Comics 26. There's a couple of Peter Porkchop stories in here, as well as Doodle's Duck, The Tortoise and the Hare, Pelican Pete, Roly and Poly, and Puss and Pooch. Leading Comics number 8. The 7 Soldiers of Victory become exiles in time, all thanks to the dummy, who's somehow managed to get his hands on a time machine. An everyday occurrence, I'm sure. Green Arrow and Speedy end up meeting 3 of the 4 Musketeers. Crimson Avenger and Wing end up back in ancient China. And, oh dear. Star Spangled Kid and Stripesy end up meeting some Viking raiders. And also Vigilante finds himself back in Roman times. And the Shining Knight ends up in Renaissance times, where he meets Leonardo da Vinci. And wouldn't you know it, old Leonardo has his own time machine. All they need to do is discover electricity to get it working, which they do. I have to point out that Sir Justin says, "Throw the swith" in this panel. I think someone missed a C out, and that should have been "throw the squith," which is what they called switches back in Renaissance times. Anyway, Sir Justin ends up being transported back to current day times, which is 1943, and from there he's able to transport everyone else back as well, using the original time machine that the dummy had. And the dummy ends up getting his just desserts by being trapped under a dummy. And lastly, I got a surprise package in the post. Although, like most of us, it's not the first time I've received somebody else's comics. This though is from my mate. I'm hoping he doesn't mind me calling him that.
Yes. I don't know how long it's going to last. We'll see.
Terry at Deadman Comic Cover Show. Check him out if you haven't already. There'll be a link in the description to his channel. He shows off some awesome runs. and one of the recent ones he's shown off is his X-Files comics. Now, I did happen to ask if there were any Millennium comics as well, because I do kind of prefer Millennium to the X-Files. He said they were, and what do you know? Here they are. It's a 5-part Millennium series. This is an X-Files crossover as well, as you get appearances from Fax Modem in every issue, and a name-only mention of Data Scuzzy. There's no Gillian Anderson in this. Also, I wonder how many people will get the Fax Modem and Data Scuzzy references.
Reboot!
And there's also an appearance by the Lone Gunmen. This was an enjoyable read as someone who's a fan of the Millennium TV series, but I think I have to mention that you'd have to have watched the series to understand what's going on here. There's obviously mentions of the Millennium Group, although, spoiler alert, in the show they turned out to be a force for evil, not for good. Frank's estranged daughter turns up. There's also mention of Legion, who made various appearances in the show, although Legion wasn't really one particular character, more a general concept of evil. So again, unless you've watched the show itself, you probably wouldn't get that. But cheers for this, Terry. Anyway, that's it for this week. Once again, thanks for hopefully being able to watch this video.